Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Depending on where you're watching this show from, good afternoon and good evening from every corners here in the United States. We should say good morning to all of you who are watching from Africa. If you are those who are watching from Cameroon, thank you all very much for joining. Today, we're going to be listening to a lot of opinions, and in order for us to get the vibrations of what is going out there across Africa and other countries. But today we'll be focusing on Cameroon, and we all at the National Telegraph are very concerned with a whole lot of things that are happening. And so invite you all to follow the show closely and to let us know your take. Once more, thanks for joining. Today is a very topical issue that we'll be handling at the National Telegraph, and the question is quite simple. And we are concerned about the humanitarian situation in the two English regions of the northwest and southwest of Cameroon. Today we understand that a lot of the people, the residents of those areas, prefer to call it the northern and southern zones of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. My name is Tataw. If you're just tuning in, this is the map on National Telegraph, and today we are asking this very fundamental question: why is it that the government of Cameroon thinks that the issues in the northwest and southwest of that part of Central Africa, which is now called the northern and southern zones of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, why is it an internal issue? We're going to be looking at all of those things, and we'll give huge, responsibility for some of our listeners to participate on the show, to ensure that they are the people who are living in those areas, and I want to ask them on our platform what they think about this particular issue. Okay, some people probably need to turn on a lot about their devices, because I think we are monitoring, and from what my technicians tell me, that I think the volume is okay except otherwise. Okay, we'll try to see what we're going to do to work hard on the volume issue. I think this is the second time that we have this complaint, so we're going to make sure that the volume is fixed and that. Like we were saying before, we just let you know that you can call on +1 +1 917 80 1068. So we are going to make sure that we follow up on that line. Some people still talk about the volume. I think the technician should be checking that. Otherwise, we're going to check here to see what's going on with the volume. Let me see. Well, we think the volume is okay. I just need this a little bit audible. The volume is okay. We're trying to make sure we don't have all the booms and all those stuff. So we want to thank you once more for joining the show, and we of course are going to have you call. You can call on for those who have the regular line that is found on the National Telegraph official Facebook page. You can call that as well. For those who want to call on WhatsApp, you can call on +1 917 that's +1 917 480 1068. So that is it. Thank you so much. People say the volume is very okay. If you're not getting me very well, you probably need to turn on a little bit some more from the device you're watching. We're trying to make the volume to be very great and ensure that everybody gets it without a blast. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once more for joining. You see, the government of Cameroon says that the crisis that is going on in the southwest and northwest of that country is an internal affair, and they think that they can handle this. And we have had a lot of suggestions in our inbox from the National Telegraph since when we announced this show, and people who have been communicating with us have made a lot of suggestions about what they think. But right away, we'll start taking calls, we'll start having people to participate live on the show. And so we ask everybody who has a contribution to either call. You have the right to release your identity or to keep it secret or private, but you can call on +1 9174 801068. I'll take it all over. It's +1 917 4801068. So that is basically where you can call to air your views, to tell us your opinion, what you think about this issue where the government of Cameroon is trying to say that the problems that you guys have in the northwest and southwest is an internal identity problem, and so that can be resolved. But then a lot of people have asked the question that if the government was going to resolve this issue in the northwest and southwest, if they consider an internal problem, why is it that since 2013 they have not been able to resolve it? That's the question a lot of people are asking. That why has the government not succeeded in resolving the issue since 2016? Another big question that's an indicator that the government of Cameroon cannot and will not, even in 10 years, resolve the issue, because it is no longer a domestic issue where there is a peaceful protest within the context of a kind of dissatisfaction amongst the people of the northwest and southwest. But now it has basically, literally, in fact, it's a full-fledged civil war, let me put it that way, as some people suggest. And that there is an armed conflict where we have seen people being kidnapped in their numbers. I think somebody's trying to call. We'll take this call. So, yes. Hello? Hello? Are you trying to participate on the show?
No, bro, I just send you some small two audios that I beg. Listen now, if you want to go on that show, listen now, I beg. Because this thing with the great anti-contender force is not the cost problem for ground zero. I beg, not just send you some small good audios.
Okay, you know what? Just hold on. Since you are calling on WhatsApp, I'm going to put you on to explain what you want to explain. Then we can analyze it from there. Although we are saying something else, so let's listen to what you want to say. Go ahead.
Okay, now here I don't send you some audio, bro, concerning this creation of contender forces by Ayabacholi group. This matter not the cause trouble for ground zero already. They already fight forces them to capture some forces. They may go join their camp. So we need to stop them before it cause war between the Ambazonian people. We need to stop them. We just take a God name for Ayabacho and a group. We they stop the creation of contender forces. We they live county by county. We any man fight for a county. Because if any man know a county, the restoration forces they know their county. You know say where you live for your place, you know your house. You know your hidden point. You know say if you stranger come for here, you go hit it so you go run hide for here. You know do something you go be like a joint thing where you go cause problem, division among us. We know one time this revolution, so all we will need to go to Boya.
Okay,
so
thank you. Thank you. Okay, we want to make sure that everybody is speaking briefly. I'm not controlling anybody the way they speak. I don't select the calls. I just take the calls the way they come. So for those who are complaining about the volume, don't worry. We're putting a lot of things together. We'll make sure that subsequently you have everything very effective. So we just have to keep communicating before we get everything done in here. Now, this caller is complaining about what they call contender force on the ground. Well, I think I have a knowledge because I follow social media as well. We'll be researching all of these things, and I have an idea about what he's trying to say. And so because we have heard of situations like in Beme, where you see this somebody complaining that he was saying that he has sent me an audio, I didn't even follow it. I'm going to relate to the, to listen to the audio letter and revert to him. But then he's saying that one of the people who are in the revolution, and yesterday we had an interview where one of the lawyers who came from Africa, from Cameroon, said similar things about this particular group of persons. And this is another caller that's repeating the same situation. Well, what I want to say is that I don't want to overdwell on it, because our topic today is talking about the issue where the Cameroon government is thinking that the Ambazonian, like you call it, the Ambazonian crisis or war of independence is an internal issue. So we have heard that complaint, and we as a people, we must remain committed, and that remains very vital for everybody who is following a revolution, whether as a journalist or as an activist, to remain committed to the issues of human rights violation and the humanitarian crisis. So we will continue to get this point up, and let's all understand one thing, and we must know that no matter what we do, it's going to be very difficult to get all the humanitarian situations exist. So we must remain faithful to the humanitarian plight of the people of Southern Cameroon. So without said, ladies and gentlemen, let us. Okay. Thank you so much. Somebody is proposing here that somebody should be blocked. No, on this platform, basically, we took the very firm decision to allow people to express themselves. They have the right, because this is a liberal platform, it's a media organ, and they could be saying one good thing or the other, no matter the approach that they take. So now, let us get it very clearly. We as a people, in terms of humanitarian, must understand what exactly we're trying to do. So going forward, the government of Cameroon, Paul Biya has been president since 1982, and Paul Biya says that through his ministers, that the issue that is going on in Southern Cameroon, like most of you call it, can be handled effectively within the country. But the U.S. Deputy Secretary for African Affairs, Tibor Nash, said before, and it was very clean and clear, that the government of Cameroon cannot handle the issue. That it's about time the internal issues, the Cameroon problem, the Anglophone crisis, it's about time they took the Anglophone crisis to some international platform. And we have seen where recently they have been holding meetings at the UN, and just yesterday, the fourth, another meeting held where 9 rights groups proposed that Cameroon should be made as a personal item on the agenda. So how then is it possible that the government of Cameroon thinks that she's more intelligent than the world? And this has caused a lot of people to get a little bit confused about the role that the international community is supposed to play to resolve the crisis that is going on in your country. You see, Cameroon, like I've learned, and at the National Telegraph we have read, that Cameroon used to be two. One was in 1960, which is the French Cameroon, and the other in 1961. And these people finally, they decided to come together. And why they came together, there was what they called a marriage of convenience, but later realized that this marriage wasn't moving quite well, and they decided that they needed better opportunities for the English-speaking minorities. And the government of Cameroon, led by Paul Biya, that has been in power since 1982, decided to crush the people when they took up peace plans to protest against their rights for better working conditions, equality for the... they were refusing, objecting the sending of French judges to their courts and also French teachers to their schools. But the government of Cameroon, actually responded by ensuring that a lot of these people were arrested until date, as we speak, from 2016 till now. From the information that we have gathered at the National Telegraph, we have information that over 10,000 people have been killed. I can quote sources like Barrister Fujonso, who is a lawyer and defending all Anglophone detainees. He also says that over more than 2,000 people have been held in detention in various, detention facilities across Cameroon. And he went further to explain a lot of other things. Meanwhile, the bishops of the Northwest and Southwest, particularly they call them the bishops of the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda, that is made up of the diocese of Kumba, Mamfe, Boya, Kumbu, and of course the Metropolitan Archdiocese of Bamenda. I'm sure that those are the dioceses that would make up, except there's one other that I'm not mentioning. But basically, in the ecclesiastical province of Bamenda, there are those areas within the Anglophone Cameroon that would have all these bishops having their see right there. Now, these bishops have written severally. The recent one was a bishop of the Diocese of Kumbu, who said very clearly through their communication officer that there's been a lot of destruction, houses have been burned down, and all of those things. Just yesterday on social media, National Telegraph posted a video where military men were giving directives, were interviewing, running commentaries with a group of the population which are Muslim, the group of population in the Northwest which are Muslim, and they were actually encouraging them. Instead of containing the violence, they had machetes and the sticks and all. They were looking very violent for anybody who saw that. And the government, instead of trying to ensure that the military should calm down those people and make peace, what happened? On the contrary, the government basically allowed the military men basically allowed the population, the community, the Muslim community there, to go and attack the other civilian, what they call the Amber Boys. So you ask yourself the question that if the government could even at least solve this problem internally, how come they are carrying this kind of interpretation, this kind of narrative, whereby they see Muslim community going to attack the non-Muslim community or the Christian community, and the government was unable to contain that little portion of violence in womb. I think that alone defeats the interpretation that the government is saying that people, they can solve the problem internally. Now, so we're going to take calls on +1 9 17 468, of course, rather +1 9174 80 1068. Now, while we're waiting on calls for your suggestions to this particular issue, there's another issue that we think we want to address. We have noticed that there's a very internal issue with the Ambazonian leadership, and we are going to put one of our pastors, we call our pastor because he prays for us here. He has concerns about the leadership issue that's going on, and he said that he was going to make an opinion on this. So I'm going to try to see if we are going to have a pastor to explain a few things. Let me see. Okay, I think we're going to get him. Once he comes online, we're going to have join us by telephone call from Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. So once he joins us, we hope soon enough, we're going to listen to him, and then I think the pastor is online here. Let me see if I can put him on speaker. I'm going to try to say, hello?
Yeah.
Okay, Pastor, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm good to that, brother.
Okay, you are on National Telegraph, so we are trying to see, there's an issue, so I want to get you closer to the, you have to be a little bit audible. So there is this issue that's going on within the Ambazonian leadership that you have a word for them. That there's been a lot of social media wranglings and quarrelings and all of those things. And there have been 3 positions. One of the positions has been people who support either of the leadership of your interim government. There are others who are quiet, completely quiet, they are not commenting, while there are a few others who are neutral, who stand in a position where they think that there should be reconciliation irrespective of who is right or wrong. So as a man of God, if you want to introduce yourself, you are good to go. But if you don't want to, that's fine. But what is your take? Just be a little bit audible on this issue.
Okay. First of all, I want to just take this time to greet everybody, and also to send my respect
to all those who have been really fighting and giving their all into this movement. You know, of course, you yourself, from day one, you've been strong and delivering good information to the people who today they've come to understand what is happening to Southern Cameroon.
Mm-hmm.
Based on what you've asked me to share with everybody here, is something that is very practical and is something that is very simple. As you said, a lot of people, they are losing their courage. Some are very upset right now and they are angry.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing's supposed to happen like this, okay? It's not a coincidence, or it is not, I'll say, a mistake to say all these things are confusion. No, I want you guys today to look into this thing as if it's not a confusion, but it's a way of how to get our solution and to get our results.
Yeah.
I want to share with you all one scripture, and from that scripture I will share my mind and how I to reveal. Maybe it will bless somebody in a very special way. When we look into the scripture of St. Matthew chapter 22, I believe verse 18, the disciples and many people came to Jesus and they asked him, Lord, how many times must we forgive our brothers?
Mm-hmm.
And Jesus told them 7 times 77 times. When you look into that number, you come to see that that number is infinite. It means that your brother can sin and come to beg for forgiveness. You should forgive them. Where am I going with this? I want to show you that we are in a place right now whereby many great leaders have come into this movement and they have done their best. But we keep on forgetting that in war tactics, most of the time, they will come to confuse our leader, or they will bring confusion to us to pretend as if the leaders are the ones who are in mistake or in error. Then what happens is this. We become upset and we become angry. Listen again. When we are angry, now we cannot think clearly. And once we cannot think clearly, we cannot see the solution. Then we cannot even see how we can back up the leader or how we can stay focused to reach our results. I want us to apply biblical process in this revelation. Because honestly, Jesus did not just come here just because he wants to just come and let me just die and see people come. No. Jesus is the practical way of life. You will see how he got his results. By the time he entered heaven, he asked Father at the cross, at his last minute of him dying, he said these words, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they are doing. This forgiveness, it was not for us. It was for Jesus. Jesus asked for the forgiveness so his mind, his spirit can enter into a greater blessing, heaven. Forgiveness is not for the other people. Forgiveness is for us to experience breakthrough, to experience clarity about what life is all about. For example, again, one more example. I've witnessed people who are fighting, and they are very angry. And I've seen the other one, because he's so upset, and he wants to punch the other person, and he missed, and he punched the wall. I've seen the time as well, somebody is so upset, they want to kick somebody, and they miss, and they fall on the ground. Mm-hmm. Listen, if we allow anger to control us, we're going to miss our target. It means you're going to see the target, but you cannot hit the target, because we are angry, and because we are frustrated. We have come too far. It's time now for us, seriously, to think about forgiveness. Forgiveness is for us. It's for us to clear our mind so we can think clearly and get the results that's in front of us. Why am I saying everything I'm saying? I'm saying this because we are so close to the victory. We are so close to the something. The end is not as difficult. It's because of the lack of knowledge. Once as we have the knowledge of what is happening, then we can embrace the end. I ask you, my people, my brothers, my fathers, my mothers, for us to embrace each other. Let the neighbor begin to show true love to one another. Listen, this thing is not just about we stopping the very no. This is a new world. The Southern Cameroon is a new world.
Thank you, Pastor. So, I think everybody has heard Pastor. Basically, he's preaching forgiveness. So we'll take other calls, and we'll bring Pastor some other time again to explain this more. Thank you so much, Pastor. You've been very instrumental, very much like a guardian angel. God bless you, and I wish you the best.
All right, brother. God bless you.
Okay, we're going to take more calls. I think we are here now. It's now Pastor is gone, so we. All right. So yes, we have somebody on the line. Hello. Yes. You have a contribution? Okay.
People United Nations, they will say like say some air will hit Napobia regime now.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Okay, so sister here, yeah, you have just brought up a point that we're going to analyze on it. It's about the joint protest between that was called. So while you're following to analyze so that people should understand. Yes, I think the joint protest, one of the Southern Cameroonian activists, the number once more is +1 917 4 +1 917 4 801068. That's the number. We'll take this other call, then we'll talk about this other issue. So we're going to take, okay. So our sister here was talking about the joint protest with the Francophones, like many people have called it on social media. However, I think one of the activists, Mark Barretta, has made a statement on that. And Mark Barretta, according to information that I gathered, spoke with us at the National Telegraph. And we think that it's a good position that Mark is taking, and we have with that position. We have also communicated to the BAS, to one of their leaders, and to let them understand our intention. We'll explain this further in other regular platforms. And so at the National Telegraph, we'll be there to cover the event, to cover it as news. But I think that it's not a mandatory thing for anybody from Southern Cameroon to attend, because a lot of people have explained already that you might not be able to control, like I'm the suggestion that one might not be able to control who is going to bring the flag or not. So we'll analyze more on that probably at the end of the show. Let us take this call. Yes, from this caller. Hello? Yes, if you want to contribute, you can move away from your receiver, because it's like you're listening to the show while you're trying to call. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Eric, good evening.
Good evening. You want to contribute?
Exactly, sir.
All right, let me put you right close to the speaker. So go ahead. You can go ahead now.
Yeah, I am first of all very, very happy for having been given a chance to be able to contribute to this honorable platform. I will salute your courage so much for what you've been doing. I met you for the first time in Manfe in 2014, and since then we've never met again up till now. So I will go straight to the point. The first thing is I want to say that your initiative for BAS and Ambazonia to put up whatever march, I think it's what giving a gun salute, because Ambazonia is a separate entity from La République du Cameroon. Even if both flags go right high, is to prove to the public that these are two separate people with divergent views. So it doesn't in any way, if both of them are coming together to demonstrate, they have different purposes. Ambazonia have their own purpose, and the La République have their own purpose. So it doesn't in any way kill the dreams of the Ambazonian. Then the second thing I want to say, I want to react to, it's based on, I follow your live show with the learned barrister, but I wasn't so impressed with his analysis. I'm not going to criticize him, but I want to say, because in law, I am a jurist, you don't say a lawyer is telling, a lawyer is lying. You say the lawyer is not telling the truth. And when you look at the facts, if you want to condemn somebody, you condemn somebody and you bring the proofs to justify what you are saying. You don't just say somebody has been compromised, then you don't bring in tangible evidence to substantiate your fact. It means that somewhere along the line, you are not clean, you are trying to play politics. And that is what we, the Ambazonians, we don't accept. You as well, you don't accept, you'll never accept such a thing. And I think that if we have to move forward, we should stop backbiting. Because I've been fighting all of this in my small closet until I have this opportunity to bring out my own views. And I think that you merit a good salute. I salute Mark Barata and whosoever stands behind you to push the struggle ahead. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. God bless you, caller. We are going to pick out this, and I think the caller has made a very important point that we all understand that a lot of things that we cannot always say. We have another caller coming in. Yes, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Hello?
Yes, greeting, Mr. Eric.
Thank you. Okay, I'll put you close to the speaker now. Yes.
Okay, I want to first congratulate you for the keep up for the fight and for the encourage the people to on ground zero. One thing I want to chip in and say, the march pass with the bus is not be actually a problem, because which we would say out on that march pass that the genocide way will be committed by the regime. And I believe say no matter the people who protest with them, would they say out what struggle. That means would they say out the information which way the struggle be based on. But secondly, for the people who diaspora, we are really big concern. I say the lawmakers, that means love for people that love for surrogate them, they don't be rampant in the way. That means people that don't even put the revolution at heart. They put the position for their different leaders at heart, where they make it bring the division. So wait till I want to talk further than 70. So when we, the leaders for diaspora, being an activist or leader for any group, I know we mention name, when we go put our pride aside, it will make them, it will take the revolution forward. Put our pride aside for waiting. Say when we get the revolution at heart, we believe we will fight first for one Amazonian. We get now the people, the land at heart, the people on ground zero, the innocent civilian, where they die every day at heart. It will make an assertion. We first get to put that unity. We first get to put that unity first. For make us move forth the struggle. Put up for every table way we'll get to channel the medium for our independent. Like yesterday, I been listening to your live show with the Barrister Fujon. So one of the mistakes we would make an assertion. Barrister Fujon so long to can't talk with you it talk him. And for your point as a lawyer, it be very right. There are some evidence where you will put them out there where you feel say you help the struggle, where you destroy the struggle the more. Example like my trip to Boya. And when Barrister Fujon so began talk say our leader be compromised. As a lawyer, I believe say if you want to talk so he talk all those things with findings and fact. Okay, Mark Barata long time can write another article. Say you want get back to it where Barrister Fujon so talk. That is the mistake. Because would they keep the point finger for the mistake where other people don't do them, other soldiers don't do them, forget our main goal.
So basically at the end of the day, not for cutting short, at the end of the day you think say just because some point they get a call, you think it be important for unity, make everybody stop, right? You know, all this querying on Facebook and all of those things. Is that what you're proposing?
Yes, unity, especially for diaspora, for now. And that unity or collaboration, it will grow under one umbrella, being it AGC, being it scope or the interim government. If we get that unity for work, it will instead motivate the followers them, whether you be the follower of AGC, but when once the people only collaborate, they buy one idea, not this infighting. It will mobilize the people on ground more than which way it be now. So that is my point.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, all right, that's fine. Anyway, so for the next callers, we'll concentrate on why Cameroon government say this issue now internal affairs. So we'll see some people try to call a lot of people. So one, thank you very much, caller. We'll take some other people to somebody to try to call from Ground Zero. Well, I think some persons text say more increased volume, but the volume is pretty good. I can get it right here. Okay, we'll get this caller. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Okay, I have I guess 2 points. One, check your WhatsApp message. I made a contribution there. It should be in your Cash App. All right, towards the call.
Okay.
Second point is with regards to this issue with the bar. I don't want to call it an issue. I think that Southern Cameroonians we need to look at the bigger picture. Okay. These people, if I'm not mistaken, are standing up for human rights abuse. And the last time I checked the Cameroons, the only part of the Cameroons that is experiencing human rights abuse of such magnitude is Southern Cameroon. So if we have...
Okay, Mr. Allen, not to cut you short, we have received $100 from you. You've sent $100 here for this injured one. There's one guy I talked with Ashu Kingsley and Ebenezer today. There's one guy from Jan who is injured. He's in the hospital in Nigeria, so they needed to help him. So Mr. Allen has sent $100. So the Ashu and Brother Ebenezer, people are listening. Okay, you need to get to me, and they need to transfer this money so that the guy gets it. And then one of our other brothers, somebody he prefers to be called Dr. E in New Jersey. He also sent $500 for another project for some other person who is injured. Two of them, they too are in Nigeria. So I'm going to revert to you. So you people have acknowledgements from these people. So it was important that I make this declaration. So this is what is there. It's $600 on the Cash App for people who can see. So thank you so much, Mr. Allen. 100 from you, and 500 from Dr. E in New Jersey. So basically that's it. So it was important that I make this acknowledgement. I didn't know until you called me to tell me because I was live. So thank you so much.
You're live, right? Yes. You're live. Your phone, yeah. I know that
so I've just seen on the other phone. So but Ebenezer will get to me, and then I'll do the transfer. Thank you for the prompt reaction as soon as you see that you can help. So that's it. So go ahead with your contributions. Cameroon government says that the issue is an internal issue. What is your take?
Okay, the Cameroon government is saying it's an internal issue because again, who has to gain or who has to lose, right? A lot of these things we have to start looking at the bigger picture. Okay, if they say it's an internal issue, then of course they're going to avoid external influence. And they already know where the external influence is leading, all right? Let's not, if the external influence was working in their favor, we will not be having this conversation, okay? Everybody already knows the facts, all right? Everybody already knows the facts, and that's the reason why there's no dialogue, because once the true dialogue commences, then we have nothing but the facts, and the facts are in the favor of the fact that you actually have two sovereign nations that came together in some experiment that has failed, period. And even, let's look at the worst case scenario. Let's even say that, you know what, it's actually two countries that were united, okay, and came together as one. Well, guess what? The peoples have a right to disunite, right? It's like a marriage. Even if you go to court and you sign 10,000 papers, if one person or both parties are not happy, they have the right to file a divorce and to separate. So no matter how you cut the cake, right, the peoples of Southern Cameroon have the right to choose their destiny. And as of now, so speaking, majority of the people want to go their separate ways. So it doesn't make any sense. So that's the point about the Cameroon government issue. Now, if we are smart, okay, which is what I was trying to liaison to with this regards to the Basque issue, we need to promote the fact that this is an international affair. This is not an internal affair. Now, we have brothers across the Mongol who are trying to raise awareness in terms of killings that are going on in our part of the country, in Southern Cameroon. It does not make any sense that you will have, let's say, 10,000 people from Basque showing up at the White House, okay, and Ambazonians to sit at home quietly, whereas the people of the Basque are there because of us. They are there because of our case. Now, of course, they are affiliated with Camto. But from what they're advertising right now, it has to do with human rights abuse. And if it has to do with human rights abuse, and you're inviting other countries like Nigeria and Chad and other countries who can bring their flag if they choose to, I see no reason why they cannot bring their own flag, and no reason why we cannot bring our own flag as well. It's all about the human rights, and it has to do with numbers.
But from just not to cut you short, some of your people think that which I reason with them, it's an issue of debate, that going to protest with the other people who carry the Cameroonian flag, whereas you people have the Ambazonian flag, is going to behave as though, especially if their numbers outnumber yours, it's going to be as though you people want one Cameroon, indivisible Cameroon. That is the story. Or probably people want some kind of federation. Do you see it that way?
No, but if we want some kind of federation, then we're going to be carrying the same flag, right? No, think about it. If we want a federation, the worst case scenario, we're going to carry the old flag that has the 2 stars. We are going to be carrying the Ambazonian flag, the blue and white flag, okay? They are going to be carrying the green and yellow flag with 1 or 2 stars. That's up to them. You see, we're looking at petty things and we're forgetting the bigger picture. You think that if Donald Trump opens his window outside the White House and sees 10,000 people, he cares about the flags? Come on, let's be realistic. You think that if 10,000 people are in front of the White House, of which 10% is Ambazonians and 90% are from La Republic of Cameroon, you think that Donald Trump is going to be wondering, wait a minute, what the heck is going on? It's all to draw attention to the Cameroons. We have to stop these nicky-picky, tiny issues that make us more divisive than together. We are looking at a bigger picture. There are people who are out there. They happen to be from East Cameroon. They are willing to talk about what's going on in Southern Cameroon. How can we fold our arms and sit back and let them be the ones to tell our story? Come on, does not make any sense. Because of a flag? A flag? I mean, the flag is a sign of unity. We are going to go there with our flag. Even if it's not 10 Ambazonians, right? We're going to go there with our flag, which actually does show the fact that you have 2 countries. Right. Now, even if we get dwarfed with their flag, so what? Is it about flags or about the image of killings that they're going to be carrying out? They are going there for humanitarian issues, okay? There are human rights abuses right now, majority of which are in Southern Cameroon. Those are the images, I believe, that they are going to be carrying alongside their flags. Now, if you are a U.S. congressman or a U.S. senator or whatever you are, that you're walking down the street and you see 10,000 people, be it Cameroonians from East Cameroon or Southern Cameroon, do you really care about the flag, or are you looking at what is the message? What are they trying to tell us? That should be our concern. Now, look at the solely Ambazonian rallies in the past. Look what happened in New York. What, 200, 300, 400 people show up. So if we have people that are going to show up and make our numbers huge, are we really concerned about the color of a flag being in our way for us to alert the world about the killings? We have to find a better way to end this stuff. If somebody is going to help us to advertise our case, for example, yes, it may be our enemy. But guess what? Not all Francophones are our enemy. The guys of the Basque who are coming there to stand up and to expose our stuff are not considered as our enemy. We have to be very, very careful that we don't turn the whole situation now into an Anglophone thing. There are people on the other side of the Mongol who really are sympathetic to our cause. I see no reason why we should isolate them.
Okay, thank you so much, caller. God bless you. I can see that you're calling from Delaware. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay,
That's a
you're
very
welcome.
pertinent point. And once more, thank you for your contribution of $100 to the wounded refugee in Nigeria, Mr. Ebenezer from Indian. Please, you need to get to me, and let me just see what I can do. It was just important that we could call, if we could get to Mr. Ebenezer. Why, Mr. Caller? It's important that when you give your money, we are a humanitarian media house where we ensure that people who are hurt in one way or other, they get some sort of relief and so
Some support.
Yes, so,
That's correct. That's correct.
I want to thank you, but you stay online while we try this issue out at once, because monetary issues, National Telegraph tries as much to. So I'm going to call.
To make sure that the funds are allocated at the right place. I understand.
So I'm going to see if we can get Kingsley online for him to call. So we'll round up in the next 5 or so minutes. And so
And while we're on the call, again, Derek, just so you know, right? This issue, again, let's just make it clear. This is not a compulsory march, okay? I have made this point clear before. We need to take the struggle of this thing back into the hands of Southern Cameroonians. Now, if the leaders or the leadership do not want to support it, it's fine, okay? It doesn't matter if the IG supports it or not, if the BG or CG or any group, it doesn't matter. Southern Cameroonians have to wake up. Southern Cameroonians have to take the struggle back into their hands. Right. Go out there to the White House, go and march and make a point. Let Donald Trump and anybody else see you guys in your numbers and hear your message. Period.
Okay. Thank you. So I'm unable to get Ashu Kingsley online, but I want to say that anybody who is from Ndian who is watching this live show now, there's one of your brothers. His name is, although he has a band name, his name is Ebot. As I heard, I've spoken with him before. You can get to me, ask Mr. Ebenezer, who is coordinating you people in Indian, the humanitarian Indian, that some contribution that Kola has given, and we have to give it to the guy in the hospital. So I want to thank you very much, Mr. Kola. You gave $100. Dr. E from New Jersey gave $500, so that's $600. So we have 3 persons, one Indian, one Manu, and the other from probably Meme. So once Beneda gets to me, we're going to sort out all of these things. Thank you so much. God bless you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. So I would have said Mr. Alem. Mr. Alem was actually calling. Thank you, Mr. Alem from Delaware. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And again, just tell people, let us wake up, okay? Let us wake up. Let's look at the bigger picture.
All right. So you are going to bring people from Delaware for the march? Is that right?
No, we have people already. Exactly. We have. We're trying to organize to get a bus tour as a matter.
Okay. Now the point why you're on that's fine. So you'll be following the show where we discuss. So thank you. We'll take this last caller. We know that want to call, but we will have to take just this last caller. Then we go. Okay. So we have a last caller here. Hello. Yes, you are calling from. Let me see, like Ground Zero, like people call it. What's your contribution, sir?
Okay. Sorry, my life feed is a bit slower than what I expected. Okay. My contribution to the program is first. You said the international community is saying Cameroon the conflict in Cameroon is an internal issue. Have you guys forgotten that the world is a global village? That Cameroon is a signatory to a lot of international conventions.
Not just to cut you short. Thank you very much. You are bringing some very pertinent points. We did not say that the international community is saying that. We said that the Cameroon government is telling the international community that this is an internal issue, and so they wouldn't want them to intervene. Because as we speak with you, the former Prime Minister Philemon Yang is been having meetings with women from Oko and some women from the Northwest to encourage them to go march at the U.S. Embassy, kicking against the intervention of the U.S. and other foreign parties in the what they call the internal affairs of Cameroon. So you go ahead with your suggestion. I think what you are going to say is very pertinent.
I saw that. The funniest thing about it all is that he going to Yaoundé. Why don't he go to the Northwest and to the Southwest and ask the people to come out?
But are you aware that the former Prime Minister is holding this meeting in his house in Yaoundé?
Yeah, it's in Yaoundé. I'm aware of that. That he's in Yaoundé holding those meetings. Can he dare to come to the Southwest or to go to the Northwest? Can he? He cannot dare. There are things that they are talking. Every life matters. If you kill one, you already made the crisis internationally, because human rights, I'm sure, is a global thing. Right now, we have a lot of people that have left, especially my area, from Bamenda to the Southwest. Where should I name it? You go all over the world right now. You find Ambazonians. You find even Cameroonians from La Republique. So what is he talking about? International issue? National issue. If it was a national issue, why did he keep absorb all the displaced persons?
That's a very good question, caller. You're very intelligent, because if it's internal, why did the Cameroon government not take all those 1 million of the people in Nigeria and keep in other cities in the other regions? Is that not what you're asking?
Yeah, because when the soldiers are going around burning houses.
Oh, so you are calling from Cameroon. You might not want to release your exact location, and we know a lot of people are watching you. So are you testifying on national telegram that soldiers have been burning houses, contrary to the other information we've been getting?
The information, remember that the government will always give a contrary view. Look at what is happening in Bamenda. That happened in Bamenda. The soldiers went live, burnt the houses, and then the Lele Afrique went on air and said, we're going to investigate. It was an error. How will the soldier that was meant to protect properties and persons? Look at the recent case that happened. It's on video. I'm sure you got that video.
I got it.
Yeah, the video, you saw people moving with weapons to go and destroy, and you, the soldiers, you are encouraging. What do you put in around the international domain? You are telling them that you should go ahead, kill those who you think you can kill, and then don't worry, it will put it as a, how they call it, we'll put it that is a tribal issue. And the governor was hailing the soldiers for making the video. That's what I saw. I read it over the news also. So you heard that it's an internal affair. People, hundreds of people have died, and the Parliament of Cameroon is unable to even discuss why those people are dead.
So it means that the Parliament has not brought that discussion automatically. It means they cannot solve that matter internally, right?
No, they cannot. They cannot. Okay, look at Sonara is burning, and the gases are toxic. You have seen press conferences talking about it was an accident, so that the insurance should pay. Does it? Should pay, and if that it was an accident. I'm not insinuating that it was done by anybody, but put it this way: the smoke that is going to the air. What has the population? What have they said to the population? What is the after effect? They were supposed to tell the population that, please, this is a hazard that is fine, or this is the nearest point, or this is a safety tip that you guys can take. Well, right now we are talking. I'm sure the last video I saw, the films was still coming up from the building.
All right, thank you so much. So you're saying you have said a couple of things, that the Cameroon government actually has been authorizing soldiers to shoot. Yeah, so they cannot handle the crisis. All right, thank you, caller. We're going to leave it at here. Except you have one last contribution. One last contribution.
No, that's all for now.
So you said that the military is responsible for burning down houses and killing people in the 2 English regions.
I'm telling you, look, right now, go to every household and ask these people, ask them that, just take a child, ask him, how did you hear the sound of a gun? Yeah. He will tell you exact type of gun that sound. That's for a baby or a child.
Wow. That's a bad it's been calmed down there. Okay. Thank you so much, caller. I think we have everything going on, and we're following up closely at the National Telegraph. If you have time to read one of the articles that we wrote about the environmental and health hazards that the Sonora issue must have caused, and why the government has not made any very serious reaction to this particular issue. You can find out on www.nationaltelegraph.net. Thank you so much for watching the show.
Please, one more thing I wanted to ask you. Please, when you guys are trying to inform the international community about the crisis that is going on in Cameroon, but when I was checking on Wikipedia and I discovered that the information that was there was inadequate, which means I'm not a historian, but it only talks more about one part of the country and then just involve the other part coming together, and that's it. So some group of friends went on to try to edit, but they were not good historians. So I would like you guys to take a look and also sign up on the Wikipedia and try to see how you guys can correct that so that you can inform the international community properly. Because when everybody goes on the internet and search on the history of Cameroon, and what they have is a sketch. It's just a skeleton which doesn't give any flesh to what is to why these people are fighting. I can hear a lot of people who tell you the crisis that is going on is about language. Please, I hope you guys can make that very clear to people that language is not the problem. This is a matter of cultural difference.
But language is part of culture. So you cannot separate culture from language.
What I'm saying is language is part of culture, but most people perceive it as it's the problem of language. You know, language is part of culture, but culture is not language.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I think I said, but remember that in 2016, the lawyers and the teachers were talking basically about language. Why are you bringing English judges or courts? Why are you bringing English teachers? So it is predominant. You know, the issue, just a minute, caller. The issue is that in tracing the origin of the difference, the way I look at it, that there are two major things that are involved. There is the historical background of the Anglophone crisis, which will go as far back as 1960, 1961, when the two countries had their independence, right up to when there was a referendum. It could go as far as much as you want, but the historical background of this revolution, this armed conflict that you people are fighting, it began as an issue of language, right? Like if they say a revolution is caused by bread shortage, it could be there are other issues, but the main issue that started that revolution. So when you are saying that it started, because I remember because National Telegraph reports a lot on that, and it's important for us to educate people on this, and other papers to report on this. And you cannot say that this revolution, that this armed conflict started in 2016 as a disagreement in culture. No, it was a disagreement in language in 2016, but you can go further back. I think you try to get my point. Once you are putting a date when the revolution started, did you get my point, caller? Hello?
Yeah, I got it.
Excellent. So
let me just chip in something here.
Okay, yes.
It started as language. The language is not real. The language came up because there was a cultural difference. Remember,
accepted.
Those judges that were brought.
I agree with you.
In court.
Just a minute.
Understand the system.
Yeah. Okay, take for example, if there is shortage of bread shortage can be a cause of a revolution that we have known, but the original cause would have probably been that money is no longer in the economy. So if they ask that what caused this revolution now, you say because people didn't have bread. Because money was the original issue, but the reason why they really started striking was because of bread. Not so. We have the fuel crisis that we had last time, and you all know. So basically, we're just saying that in 2016, there was a disagreement in language where they didn't want French judges and French teachers. Are we right? I think we're on the same track. Okay, thank you so much, caller. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, I'm going to leave you here because we understand that a couple of other things, some other person is trying to call, but we'll leave it at here. Caller has taken quite a lot of time, so we're happy that he brought up very, very important things that other people want to call, but unfortunately, we can't take any call anymore. One daily show should just be an hour. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a huge pleasure. So we thank you all. God bless you. My name is Tataw once more, signing out for National Telegraph here in the United States of America. Don't forget to click like and to follow our page. You can also follow us on YouTube on National Telegraph. We are also on Twitter on National Telegraph, and you could also follow us on our official Facebook page that you're watching now. Each time you come there, invite friends and invite them to like the page. There are a whole lot of programs that we're putting together. We're just beginning to steam up live shows on the page. Once everything is rolling, you're going to have a whole lot. Once more, bye-bye and stay blessed. We love you.